discuss how to put together a personal disaster kit called a Go Kit. Now this is something that you want to have in every location that you spend any length of time. For example, you would like to have a Go Kit near your bed because you're sleeping for about 8 hours a night, which is about 1/3 of the day. You would also like to have a Go Kit whenever you are in your work location. If you work in an office, you would have this kit near your desk, since you work for about 8 or 9 hours a day. And perhaps you might spend a lot of time in your car in a commute, and you'd like to have a kit in there as well. So this is the basic set of equipment that you'd like to have inside of your Go Kit, no matter where the location is. First, we want to talk about the personal safety equipment. The number one thing that every Go Kit must have, in fact, you should probably have one on your keychain, in your purse, or anything like that, is a whistle. This is an emergency signaling device that anyone can hear. It is extremely loud, and I have the package already pre-opened, so it's easy for me to get to. That is the way that anyone outside of the building will know that there's someone trapped inside, especially when you do 3 bursts on the whistle as the emergency signal. Next, we have the equipment for your head. Now this is just an old bicycle helmet that I no longer use for my bicycle, but I have it attached to my Go Kit under my bed and one in my car as well. The next hazard is going to be dust, and so I don't want to breathe the dust, and so I can go out and get these dust masks at any hardware store. Or if you don't want to have this, then you can just buy any kind of a bandana or cloth and put a little bit of water on the part where you're breathing, and it'll work very well as a dust mask. The next thing is a pair of goggles, because you want to keep the dust out of your eyes. And again, the package is pre-opened so that it's easy to get to. When I'm ready to actually get out of the house, if for example I'm able to escape on my own, then I have very heavy work gloves because I'm going to have to get over and around a lot of debris. And I have a pair of shoes with the socks inside. This is especially for when you're doing it in your bedroom, because you're probably not wearing shoes or socks when you're sleeping. And so this will allow you to walk over glass and other problems without hurting yourself. And they're already there and available. So that is the personal safety equipment. Next, we have the medical equipment. Now this can be something as simple as something you can buy at a drugstore, but this is going to have only very basic Band-Aids and ointments and things like that. A step up from that would be a prepackaged kit such as for campers or hikers that you can buy at any type of store that would have those items. But my personal is to set up your own kit like this, which has gauze, ace bandages, some saline solution to clean the wounds, all different sizes, shapes, and availability for the types of wounds that you might have to work with. Now in this kit you also want to put your prescription medications, and so this would have to be updated as you get new prescriptions. So for example, you have a prescription, you're going to get the new prescription, you would put the new bottle in here, take the old bottle out and use that, and you want to have a minimum of 7 days supply. It would be also a good idea to put a pair of your prescription glasses in here, even if they're not quite the right prescription anymore, because at least you'll get to see most of what's going on. Next, you'd want to have some tools. So we can go with a very basic lowest level, which is kind of a pair of folding scissors like this that you can buy at any drugstore. Or you can start stepping up into, say, a small pocket knife like this. It just has a basic set of tools. You can start going up to the Swiss Army knife type, which has more types of equipment to use. And maybe even advance up to something like a Leatherman, which has pliers and saws and stuff for a lot longer equipment that you might need in the days ahead after the disaster. Next, we have the longer-term survival needs. Now, we all know that we need to have food and water. And in this case, I have bottled water. I have 4 bottles in my pack. And I also have non-perishable food bars such as these. You can get whatever you prefer. And then every time I go out and buy new ones, I would cycle these out and put these in with the water and the food. So I always have a fresh supply inside. Now, we have some issues with personal sanitation. If we are trapped in our location, say something has fallen on us, and we have to go to the bathroom, we're going to have to go somewhere. And so the best thing is to have a bunch of really tight Ziploc baggies. I use the freezer bags personally, and have them in a safe location such as this. And then to clean up after myself, some wet wipes and some regular Kleenex is also in the kit. And if needed, I've thrown a bigger garbage bag in there to kind of collect everything together to keep it all as sanitary as possible. Next, we have the morale side of the disaster. So you probably know that we need to have some sort of an emergency radio, and you can have something as small as this or as large as this, but making sure that you have plenty of batteries on hand for whatever radio that you have. And I personally keep the power cord in there as well, because you never know if in this disaster you're going to still have electricity. The reason I like the bigger one is that it has a hand crank, and so that you can actually crank up the electricity for this one. And the reason you want to have this is to be able to listen to the emergency station for your location. The next thing I have is something to do. So again, if I'm trapped in my situation and waiting for rescue, I just have a deck of cards, whatever you particularly like to have. That's a very versatile thing for me. I also have a very small notepad and some pens and pencils, so I can take some notes, because you never know if perhaps I'll be able to write about my experiences and make $1 million on my book. Another big morale issue is lighting. Now, this is a very inexpensive and easy way to have lights while you're trapped in your situation. So if it's dark where you're at, these are called light sticks. And the way that they work, you open the package, you snap it in half and shake it, and the chemical reaction creates light for about 12 hours. And there's no spark and no danger whatsoever. So I keep them on a very sturdy cardboard such as this so that they don't accidentally snap in the pack prematurely. Other sources of light that you might consider, and of course this will be essential if you're trying to get out of your house at night, is a flashlight. You can have something as small as this or as large as this that already comes with its batteries. And again, just making sure that you're keeping the batteries fresh and cycling them out as they expire. The next thing you want to have is some identification. So if they find you and you're unconscious and you're clutching your Go Kit, they'll at least know your name, your phone number, your insurance information, and your medical information, since it's on the back of the card. So this is already pre-filled out and is in my pack. The other thing that I have is to help me out later on is a copy of my driver's license, my medical insurance, my homeowner's insurance, and again my emergency contacts, so that I have this information in case I need it when I'm going to get my insurance for the situation. And those are the basic supplies that you would put into a Go Kit for your a disaster situation. If you're putting this in your car as well, you would want to have all of these types of things and some additional items. So here is a rain poncho. It's a very bright yellow so that you don't get hit by another car, hopefully. It can be used as a space blanket. It can be used to collect water. It has many, many uses. The other thing that I would have is a compass. And the reason is that many of the signs will be gone. The streets are going to be destroyed in a lot of cases, and so you might become disoriented. But if you know you're headed west, then you can always make sure that whatever you're going around, you'll eventually head west until you find some landmarks you recognize. And then the last additional thing I have is this rope. It's a heavy-duty rope, and you would check the working strength. This is 300 pounds. So it would be good enough for you to climb down from an overpass or to help out other people, but obviously not good enough to hold up a car. And if you normally travel with a lot of individuals, you want to make sure that there is enough equipment in the car for all those individuals. So for example, you'd want to have 4 sets of goggles if you're a family of 4, and 4 sets of gloves, and obviously more food and water. So you would size this for the situation. And amazingly enough, it looks like a lot of equipment, but it will fit into a standard backpack such as this. And again, I would put the most important stuff in the front, and then the stuff that you don't need as much in the back, so you can get the quick access. And that is the essential equipment that is needed to put together a Go Kit or personal disaster kit.